It's recording. Hello, everybody. I don't know what the fuck to say. This is Jeremy Johnson, aka Color Lab. You drive me nuts.
You want to start over?
No, I don't. I just, the intros now. I'm just gonna like wing it and do it and just not
wing it.
Oh God. Dad jokes.
We're both dads. It's acceptable.
Yeah. Just want to say hi. So this is our intro, and then you'll see us drawing and bantering.
Yeah.
This is about it for us, though. Goodbye.
Him bantering more than me, though.
Yeah. On to the drawing. I'm sorry. We should introduce you at least, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
We're watching this.
Yeah.
And you are Jeremy Johnson.
That's me.
AKA
Color Lab.
Color Lab. Appreciate you coming over, dude.
Sure. It's been a while.
It really has. We used to do this like every Friday night.
I know.
For quite a while.
I know. Family life gets in the way.
No, what got in the way was you joining the 1850 Collective.
Hey. Come on now. Yeah. But, yeah, that's actually a new development. I've since quit the collective and am doing more full-time, more personal work.
Oh, you've actually stopped?
I've actually stopped after our Star Wars show.
That was the last one.
Was the last one, yeah. It was a really fun show. But after that show was my kind of official, last time. Kind of really, I might show with them again, but it might be just more on a guest situation rather than like being committed to meetings and other. I don't know. I guess more committed. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm actually working on a year-long project for a solo show. So hopefully by next October, I'll have this big, very immersive show done. But it's going to be a lot of new material. It'll be a lot of installation art. Mm-hmm. So, and some even furniture maybe, but just like running the gamut, like not just being confined to like 2-dimensional or one particular thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it should be fun.
I'm sure it would be. Yeah.
But that, and then Channel Brewing Company has signed me on to do their beer labels, which I'm excited about. I'm kind of a little nervous about, but it'll be a fun experience, I think. Yeah. How about you? What's new?
New website. I tried to shut down my store envy store, but I had like one thing pending or something. I guess they wouldn't let me. But I've kind of painted myself into a corner on purpose, mm-hmm. where I'm paying for the website, and I'm paying for like the premium version of it or whatever of Wix, not the best version, but
mm-hmm.
and then
you got Wix, you said?
Yeah, I like Wix.
Yeah, that's what I signed up for as well. The premium is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so and then I'm putting all my stuff in the store, so now it's like I'm really not focusing, but I'm making more of a concerted effort to be self-sufficient with maintaining the cost of the website,
Yeah.
And then also I'd like to do like not a company email, but like a custom email.
Yeah.
To be a little more professional. And I want
business
really,
email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be able to pay for all that out of money that I make. So I'm putting more effort into the store, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And
okay.
Drawing wise, it's been a little bit less recently, but
mm-hmm.
yeah,
that's good. Nice. Yeah, I know. I've had I've been really lazy when it's come to like working on a website because I do have my Wix account. It's just I've been super lazy when it's come to like getting the content uploaded and I think I've even got a template worked out. But
do you have Website Live?
No, I do not. Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. No, I'm definitely still trying to put it together. It's really weird because it's like it's such a I don't know, people say, "Oh, I really recognize your work." It's like, and it has a very distinct look. And I'm like,
Right.
well, okay, but I don't know, man. I feel like the things I've done, like wood cutouts, pen and ink, just different medias, kind of like it feels like it's not necessarily there's not a lot of continuity
For what you're putting out?
from what I'm putting out. It doesn't feel that way. I could be mistaken.
No,
Totally.
No, I agree.
I could be mistaken.
It seems like you're like dabbling in a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I don't ever want to let that go, just because I've grown up always experimenting with new things, and it's like if I ever settle on one thing, I don't know. I mean, yes, you do want to be recognized for a certain style, but I don't think I ever want to settle on one particular thing. I know plenty of artists who are highly productive and fairly successful, but they generally kind of focus on one particular thing, and they do a lot of it and they do it well. But I don't ever want to kind of put myself into that position, I don't think.
No, I know what you mean. There's I'm sure we can name off a couple of artists off the top of our heads that we follow on Instagram that kind of do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I mean,
but are talented. Like, do you follow Loish?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of her stuff.
Same kind of thing over and over again, but
yeah, but really still really amazing work. I'm a huge fan of her stuff.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten old for me yet.
No.
So I'm just so you know, like, I want to use this as a light box. Okay. But I cannot find the file because last night I accidentally erased like everything.
Oh no.
And I had to do this deep scan to find stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing's in place, so I don't know where
the
thing is. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing.
Oh, bummer.
So that's why I haven't actually gotten down here yet.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, like there's people that do the same thing over and over again and are making a killing, which is nothing against them.
No, good for them, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they're talented and they're happy, whatever.
I will say this, and I'm not going to name the particular artists that I've talked to that are doing the repetitious thing. It is a necessary thing to do for a source of income for, and especially if you're doing something that. Maybe you're doing the same thing over and over again, but you're doing it for different people and on different products, and it works. And if that works, that's great. And I even talked to this artist, and he was saying I'd shoot myself in my face if I had to do this one thing for the rest of my life as an artist. So there is that. As an artist, you get kind of antsy and you want to try something new. I mean, even you're trying, you're expanding your horizons by really kind of digging back into the principles and the fundamentals of form, Yes,
I have been.
And so with that, I think you're not necessarily deviating or dabbling. I think you're just really kind of like honing.
That's really.
It's like working out, like going.
Yeah, it's still. I feel like whatever I produce is still me, whatever that is. But it's like I feel like I'm improving what I do.
Right.
That's my goal.
So yeah, it's. I definitely am dabbling in lots of different things, but I'm actually doing that with intent and purpose right now because for the show that I'm trying to I'm not telling a ton of people or at least saying much about it, but I definitely am going to try and just kind of showcase what I do and what I know in a bunch of different ways, So if somebody were to say, "Oh wow, you can take your work and turn it into something very tangible, like a piece of furniture, or you can create something that's very immersive to where people can kind of walk into your work, or your work can actually direct people through, it's has multi-use, so to speak." So
I got you. I think that if I saw your work, I think I'd be able to pinpoint it. I don't know if I'd be able to spot it as a piece of furniture though.
Right. I'm hoping that when I do decide to kind of put that together, that it has some resonance of what I do. I use a lot of nature things, motifs in my work. So you'll notice there's lots of trees, lots of bark, lots of just natural things in the environment. But yeah, I'm hoping that that it rings, has kind of the flavor of what I do on a 2-dimensional level in a 3-dimensional way.
Yeah,
That's the idea, anyways.
but like, why? What's that do for you?
It's just something. It's just a showcasing. When you do a solo show, it's not necessarily. I mean, for me, it's like I talked to this one person who was like, let's. It was for me talking to this person. It was a cry for wanting to quit my day job and really try and like figure out a game plan to get into being an artist more full time. And he said, well, why don't we do a solo show, like a really monster solo show that nobody in Stockton has ever really done. I'm like, we have a year to do it, and I'm like, okay, and I think that the idea behind that too is also to kind of like get in with, after this year-long project, I'm hoping to document it through the whole process.
That's a good idea.
And all the way up to the very end, and to where the show's happening, and then hopefully with that I can go kind of like get in with some of the more notable galleries, say in the Bay Area, and just utilize it as a kind of a portfolio. So that's kind of like the backstory on that, and part of why I kind of like redirected my focus from the collective into just doing kind of like more for me as an artist in a more professional kind of way, rather than just doing these fun shows. And they're fun, and they've been really helpful, and meeting new people and just like networking. But I think it's just there's come a time now where I've just like, okay, now I really need to kind of focus on what I'm doing and be honest with myself. It's like, okay, these shows are fun, but I really need to kind of like get a little more serious about what I'm doing. And I know that you feel kind of the same way about what you do, holding down a day job and still trying to manage this too.
Well, I think that's kind of why I stopped doing conventions. Is one of the reasons.
Yeah, I can see that.
Lots of fun, met really cool people.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it was gonna take me anywhere I would be interested in going. I don't know.
Right.
And I thought it was taking me away from creating more. I mean, really, I wanted to focus on the comic.
Yeah,
how was that? Like it was kind of taken away from that.
How was that going?
Issue 2 was done. The Kickstarter failed miserably.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was bad. I think I hit like 56%.
Damn. So what do you do when that happens? I mean, what's your... You still push forward and...
Yeah, what I'm going to do is just have it printed out in a very, very small quantity.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of it. You know, there's people that want to buy it.
Yeah.
I think my goal for Kickstarter was too high, but that was because I don't need the funding for the actual like books. The printing the books isn't that expensive.
Yeah.
Especially in small quantities. But I really wanted to do like stickers and shirts and
all the
funding. Most of the funding was for that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think that was what people were looking for.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I did wrong. So I'm just gonna print the books out and do like a limited, like a 50 run of like 50 copies.
50, wow.
Yeah, like just small. I mean, and then I'll have the digital version for free, and I've already given that out for free to a number of people.
Is there any particular reason why you're doing the digital copy for free? And somebody,
I was thinking about what my goal is with the comic and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to make money because there really isn't that much money to be made in it.
Mm-hmm.
Their comics, to print them out is like $250, and you sell them for maybe $5.
Yeah.
It's not that big of plus shipping.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge return on what you're putting out there.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include like the time that goes into it.
Right.
So, like, why am I doing this? And really, I like creating it and telling the story. And my goal is to tell the story. So, I would rather. It'd be nice to make money off it, but that's just not going to happen right now. So,
yeah.
That's not like my goal. So, I giving it out for free and having people read the story. That's my goal. And, and see if get some interest in it.
Even if you did just like your digital copy for like $1, you know what I mean? Everyone's got $1, right?
Yeah, I think it's only issue 2, and they're so far apart. I would rather get people into it.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that.
And get feedback on it, and and then kind of go from there. Yeah, so that I think that's I want to get a fan base for it, and I think that's already started.
Yeah, it seems that way. It seems like you've got like people wanting to like. I see a lot of fans like sending in like fan work and stuff, which I think is like, man, that's almost like the most ultimate form of flattery.
Yeah, like that's so rewarding.
Yeah,
and honestly, it's more rewarding I think than even making the sale.
Yeah,
it's incredible seeing people do fan art. It's the best feeling.
Yeah,
it really is. So I think that's my goal right now, is to get people interested in it. And then kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And luckily I'm not like.
Does that thing, when that screen cuts out, does it stay on still?
I hope it keeps recording. Looks like it does.
Yeah.
So luckily I'm not dependent on this for a living, and I can make that choice of like just kind of putting content out there and getting people interested in it.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're not even inking that at all?
Not yet.
You don't usually do that, right?
No.
Ever.
No, I do, but I do it on a very minimal base. I like to showcase. I don't know. I guess when people look at my stuff, it becomes more almost painterly, So I try not to focus too much on line work as much as I'd like enjoying, showcasing the color.
That's kind of where I've been focusing.
I see that. I know that you've been doing a lot more, like you say, form, stuff without the lines and stuff, and I think that's kind of like a mark of somebody who understands like the fundamentals of.
I'm not gonna say I'm there, but
no,
I'm getting
there. You're definitely making good strides.
How much thought do you put into the shapes beforehand?
I usually try and see it before I even do it. So like,
but actually, as like shapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. I mean, like this, I literally sketched everything out. First, it was rough, and then I can kind of go back and erase and adjust before I really commit to like what's mapped out. And then I'll just literally with a fine liner pen just go and like this one I used a gray pen because I didn't necessarily want it to be a really strong line. I just really wanted it to be just enough there so I can like get everything in there and then really just lay in some colors and highlights and then see what happens. This is actually an 86th idea for a Label 4 channel brewing for one of their beers.
Oh, yeah.
And I drew it last night and I was just like, this is really kind of a juvenile piece. At looking at it, and I'm just like, it's not really like a beer label material things, but it's like it's still fun, and I still wanted to color it in. So I mean, I just went for that tonight.
Do you look like you're starting off with shadows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely. Well, with this, I mean, because for one, I don't have a white colored pencil, which is usually what I use for just like.
Do you want? I have.
If you have one, that'd be fantastic.
Check that drawer. Oh, here.
There you go. Perfect. And it's even sharpened, man.
Yeah, I just used it.
But yeah, no, I'll usually just also kind of like map out like where I want my light source to come from first, and from there I can just really quick.
Is that what the whites are right there?
Yeah. So now you can kind of tell that like there's this light here that is kind of like coming behind here is working in my favor here, and like even there. I might even go back and just like intensify here.
I thought you did highlights first because your work is so.
I do sometimes.
Heavy.
Yeah, it is. But like for this, it's like I'm using the paper for highlights, and then eventually it'll be the middle tone, and then eventually I'll pop the highlights. So it's like I kind of like play this mind game with myself before I even get to the highlights sometimes. But yeah, I mean I definitely will play with the highlights sometimes first.
Okay.
But for the most part, I don't know. Maybe it's just recently that I've started with darker tones more, and yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start attacking highlights first.
Yeah, I mean, and
this is new for me. Usually,
you're heavy line,
Yeah,
first
I outline it, right?
Right.
And then, what do I do? I flat it.
Yeah.
Like I just do the flat colors,
right.
And then I'll go in like with the gray, and do the values.
Yeah, I think with this,
but that's kind of cheating. I think.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's cheating?
Because you don't do that. You don't do flats and then value it.
Yeah.
You do the values right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean,
you have a much richer visual experience.
But I also understand. I also have some understanding too of like what's going to be dark and what's going to be light. So I know that this is going to be probably darker and this is probably going to be darker here, so I have no problem like tackling it first. And then I try and like figure out what's gonna go dark. Like there's like an order, you know, of like of value, especially when you're working in a grayscale too.
Mm.
But and the reason I chose white too. I mean, I could very easily just use a different color. Like I really enjoy the super like pale blue from a color pencil on this too, because that like pink. Those two colors, that pale pink and pale blue are the most eye-catching, you know, reflective light. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I think for this, just doing black and white tones right now, I might even change it. I might even actually get into some other colors. I don't mind layering.
Who knows? It's part of the process.
Yeah, I don't mind layering color on top of the gray tones as well. I've seen some Copic artists, they'll have one complete piece and then they'll literally take one of those chisel Copic markers and just cover it like with another tone, you know, for like color and stuff.
Terrence Unchained.
Yeah, that's who it is. I'm like, dang, dude.
He does a lot. Yeah, he does a lot of that. Yeah.
A lot of just like layering of color over color, you know. And I love his use of highlights as well. He uses that Copic white pigment, you know, on a brush, and just like, man, dude, he's really good at what he does.
He is, yeah. Usually with Copic or Copic or whatever.
Whatever. I mean, it's potato, whatever you want to say.
It's Copic.
Is it?
I think so. But I always thought there was like a saturation point where you can't go beyond. But then Terrence Unchained, like he seems to break that.
You can and there is and he may not have reached that saturation point in his first pass with all the stuff he's laid down. And I've noticed that like even when you reach a saturation point, some of the markers, they all have like kind of different temperances too, because you can actually use certain colors will actually still go beyond that saturation point. You can they're still workable. So I don't know. I mean, it's all just kind of like playing with it and just figuring out what works.
Yeah, that's true. Do you feel like you're experimenting on everything you still do?
Everything, like it's in little ways. I don't know. Some of the like right now I'm kind of on autopilot because I know what this is kind of my process, laying down color pencil, doing the darks, doing the lights, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. But like with the label work for like Channel Brewing, I'm definitely gonna have to kind of like change my game up a little bit because I have to be a little bit more crisp and detailed with shapes and things, so it works good on a can, because you have to simplify your designs and stuff. You can't like do a lot of gradations. It has to become very like flat, like you were talking about, like flatting your work, you know, where it's just literally flat tones.
Yeah.
I know that you can gradate some of your flat tones in like Illustrator, but that's just going to be a struggle, and hopefully I can get through it and figure out how it works.
Yeah, that'll be new for you.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've never used Illustrator before.
I haven't either. To be honest. But yeah, it should be a fun experience.
I'm sure it will be. I don't know if you ever listened to in the interviews I've done, but I did one with his name's Carlos.
I saw the advertising. I saw you advertise for that. Yeah.
Well, there's actually I just uploaded a really short clip of like a segment of our interview where he talks about he got hired at a job, and he told the guy that he was an illustrator, and the guy heard he knows how to use Illustrator. So when he got to the job, they stuck him in front of a computer, and he had no idea how to do it because he was a graffiti kid, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I don't know how to do this, and the guy, you know.
But you said.
Yeah. So the guy went and talked to the head boss, and they came back and he said, you have a week to learn this and create something. If not, you're fired.
Wow.
So in a week, or really a weekend, it sounded like he busted ass, learned how to use Illustrator competently enough, and you know he got the job.
To survive,
kept the job, and I think he's like the head of design or something like that right now.
That's pretty impressive.
It's a great story. It's a really good story.
Yeah, it's super impressive. I hope to have one of those success stories someday. I think my life has been not necessarily not hugely like a success story, but it definitely has had its triumphs, you know, to get into certain places where I've been wanting to get, you know. Just feeling like, you know, like the day job is just gonna get the best of me, and that's where my life is gonna just lead. You know, that's all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a day job. I'm gonna be a gardener for the rest of my life, and that's it. You know, and that's like, man, that's like defeat just staring you in the face, and it's just like, wow,
that sounds shitty,
yeah, it is crappy, you know. So just in the past year or two, like things have changed enough to like realize it's like, okay, I can this is possible. I can probably do this. So now it's just a matter of like pulling together, like you're like getting your website kind of worked on. It's just those little things, you know.
Taking it more seriously, I mean, I'm surprised. I don't think I'm surprised, but I can definitely see you having more of a creating a life off of your artwork.
I hope so. You know, and it really has also had something to do with the finances. You know, in our family, like a lot of things have changed, and finances have gotten better. You know, with our jobs. So there's some stress that's been taken off of our plate, which has been kind of nice. So we've been able to really focus on things that we really want to do. My wife has gone back to school.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's taken some classes. So we just really had. There was a moment last year where we just like had a conversation, and I had to ask her. I was like, "Honey, are you happy with what you're doing, being a teacher?" She's like, "Yeah." I mean, it's. I said, "Is that like your passion, like what you love to do?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I mean, it's like, wow, that's awesome. That is, and it's like I'm working a job that I am not passionate about.
How did you get that job, anyways?
Working
how did you end up doing that
at UOP?
Yeah. Well, just in that field, like how being.
I've been working with my dad since I was a little kid in landscaping, and progressed to. We started building playgrounds of all things, you know, and traveling. And after that amount of traveling, we had Emma, and then I shortly realized that I can't travel anymore. I have to be home. So yeah, I had the fortunate, you know, opportunity to go work at UOP. It was literally down the street from where we lived. Had benefits and all this stuff, all the trimmings that you would want, you know, in a day job.
Yeah. Keeps you there.
Yeah. And so that worked out, and now it's just like it's been a really good stepping stone for sure to get into that. Oh yeah. It's not to say that it hasn't been hard working there, but being that I can actually make moves and steps to do something I am passionate about is good, you know. And I think patience has been the biggest hurdle for me, you know, just being patient and not just, man, I just really want to be, you know, doing this full time or whatever. And then coming home from a long day of work and having no energy to do any of those things I really said I wanted to do. Yeah. You know, so.
Yep. If you're coloring in like fire, I guess what I'm stumped on is the area immediately behind it. Would that be darker visually, or would it be lighter? You'd think it'd be lighter.
You would start out with all of, like, I would color, like, I would even broadcast a like a very light yellow tone around it, and then layer, like we were talking about the guy Unchained or whatever, how he just layers colors on. And so what I would recommend, and anywhere that you don't see fire or whatever, I would just give it a nice, and then maybe even like if there's no fire over this way, I would maybe feather it away, just because eventually you're gonna be bringing another tone back into that orange tone.
I want the fire to be the only light source.
Okay.
So that everything else is gonna be, to me, fairly dark.
Right.
But there will be obviously a gradient.
Right.
So up here will be the darkest.
What I might
behind the cheekbone will be pretty darn dark.
What do you have, like a tone for the color of his skin?
I would assume it's just, I haven't developed it, but I think it's just regular human, or he's like a white guy, so
okay,
Caucasian skin color.
Okay, so then I would play with that. Like if it's, the thing is, you want to go dark, like in the tone here, darker than the paper.
Oh, you know what I was gonna do was the warm tones for his skin.
Yes. And so what you could even do is I would start from the non-illuminated area first, and then stretch it back, and then actually wick it back into this area, and then come in this area, and then get like a nice warm light tone, and then just kind of like almost screen a little color, just screen it over the whole area that you want to have like that warm tone. So let's see.
It's like a flat.
Because then what you're going to end up doing is you could use a colored pencil to like create some highlights that are maybe lighter than that tone, or you could go into the darker areas and use an even darker color in those yellow tones, and actually shade with a darker kind of like more darker tone.
I'll start off with the shadow and then move in. So really, I started off with the highlights, but now I'm going into the shadow.
Yeah.
And so the middle stuff is when I start with the middle stuff and then work from there.
Yeah. And you could even too with your flames, these jelly pens actually don't do too bad over the colored pencil. They're waxy. Yeah. But you can still work just like if you wanted to pop some just like the hottest points in your flame, you could do that. And if you didn't want it to be white, just go back and tone it with the Copic marker.
Okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, these jelly markers, I love toning. I love toning stuff with these markers because it like on the gray tone paper, even the tan tone paper, it just pops off the paper.
Why are you using gray? Usually you're all about the tan stuff.
Because I couldn't find any tan tone pads. it was just me being lazy and not hunting for the tan tone. I mean, I like the tan tone, but it's also been good to like here. I'll even something different, just keep it fresh, right? I mean, the color still pop. Like even like this piece I did. It still works off this. It's just a different tone.
So what? Let's switch topics here.
Sure.
Why do you think you haven't gotten where you want to be right now as an artist? As far as what you've achieved on the professional level.
I'm actually quite okay with where I'm at. On the professional level, it's because I've got somebody who actually is invested in me. And I don't want to say invested in me like they've got stock in me, but they believe in me and they like my work enough to say, hey, I really like what you do. I want you, and it's the guys at Channel. They've said, hey, I like what you do. I would love it if you would do our labels for us, and that's going to be kind of a steady source of income. They said we'll give you X amount of dollars for this. They don't have to be huge pieces like the piece I did called the Smoky that's hanging in their space. So it's like, okay, these are things I can. And then thinking about that, it's like, man, I have paper, I have pads, I have my ink pens. I bring to work every day, and I take time on my breaks. Those are those moments where I could actually invest in that stuff. Once I nail down the process, for making their labels, we can kind of like go from there. And it's cool because and it's cool too because we've even got like already a theme. Like most of their stuff is nautical, so it's like already got like a flavor to it, so I'm not necessarily I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. When it comes to actually doing something for them, which is kind of nice, Yeah. Now for me, it's just learning the process of like digital work, which is really a new world for me.
That's going to be a part of what you do for them?
Eventually, yeah. I mean, that's the idea, anyways. I don't know how well. I mean, we've got a graphic designer who's going to be doing the graphic work end of it, and I'm doing just the illustration part of it. But maybe it won't be that hard. But I think I'm trying to figure out how I can make it easier for the designer or the graphic designer to take my work and utilize it in whatever they choose to do, be it on beer bottles, cans, be it on posters, be it on T-shirts, all that stuff. Because eventually they want to do all that. They want to merchandise it. They're buying the rights to whatever I make for them. So
that's cool.
It works out.
How'd you work out the pricing for that, or do they just offer you a number?
I actually I had somebody I consulted with who is kind of in the business, and they said charge X amount. If you can't charge that right off the bat, I would do an introductory price for maybe say like 6 labels, and then revisit the contract and say after the contract up, my prices go up after these 6 labels.
Yeah.
And so and that was kind of where I was coming from. So it worked out.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think there's something that a lot of people wonder about is how
every day I still have a hard time with pricing.
do you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had to talk. I kind of had to have a consultation with somebody to say that this is what I'm getting into, and this is what they want. I don't know what to charge. Really, this is all new territory for me, and it's like even new processes. So it's like, how do you charge like professional prices for something that you're not necessarily a professional at?
Yeah.
So
sure. Did you? I would assume. I don't know. When you went into it, did you assume like, I'll just basically charge for a commission, or do you handle it differently because it's for a business?
Well, yeah, you want to think about that too. You want to think about these people are going to make money off of your work. They're not buying it just to stick in their living room and enjoy it. So you've also got to make your money, and anytime anybody buys rights to a work like your work, you're always going to want to charge more. Because like you're charging a one-time fee, and they're going to get their money back. And it's not necessarily really about them making their money back or anything like that. Like it's like,
I mean, I don't know. I personally, I'm doing the same amount of work. You know what you're going to get from me, so I would do the same.
But they're also profiting off of your work.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
I think go ahead. Like, that's a good thing. I think every artist is looking at it differently.
Yeah.
But for me, I have a flat rate.
Yeah.
For the amount of work that I do and what I feel is fair, based on what people get.
Yeah.
But the way you look at it is more like, it's a business, so I'm gonna charge a little bit differently.
Yeah.
You're making money off it in the long run.
Yeah.
Continuing to make money off it. I mean, I get that.
It's like a musician. It's like, if that musician made a song, do you think that people are just going to buy that one song one time, and then that's it, and that's how they make their money, and they have to keep making more music in order to make more? And then you do in a sense, but like there's rights to. There's like, when as a musician or a creative, you have royalties. You could even set it up that way. With the business that you're doing that for. You say, hey, I want a percentage of whatever sales you make instead of an outright. An outright cost.
Actually, now that I think about it, I did a children's book years ago.
I remember that, actually.
Did
I
you?
remember, yeah, I actually saw that before we really even like became really like good friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of like did my creeping on you after, like Diane said, oh yeah, Justin, he's an artist, blah blah blah, and I was like, Justin, who's this guy?
No.
So yeah, I saw that
that was
the dentist book, right? Or the
the loose tooth thing.
Yeah.
Much different time. But yeah, actually, what she and I had agreed on was I would do the art, obviously. So she'd pay me for the labor, plus pay me to own the originals. So that was a separate fee.
Right.
I had done some research ahead of time and said, like, look, I didn't know what to charge.
Right.
So I had done all this research.
It's hard.
It is. And so that's what we agreed on. There was a separate fee for owning it versus me doing the labor and her using it.
Right.
And then we'd agreed, just based on research, that I would get a certain amount of whatever she made off of it. Only after she made her money back, though.
Oh, okay. So you were being nice.
Which I don't think she ever did.
No, and you were just being super nice, because what I would have done is just said, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm more of like, unless you've got a good feeling about this person getting a good return on it, you never know either. It's like, because you were just getting into this, like, you didn't. I don't know if you knew much about this person.
Yeah. I had known her, like, we were familiar with each other, I guess.
Oh, okay. But man, I get. I mean, even even like when you asked me to help you do your project with the first Scoldre story, you didn't know what you were gonna get. It could have been either really awesome or really 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 bad. And I just think just being the circumstance that it was, it worked out the other way. And I know you were on a different timeline, and I completely and respectfully understood that. But you never know what you're going to get yourself into when you, even if you know the person, because that can really, really change.
Yep. Yeah, on the other end of things, paying artists to do things.
Yeah,
I would definitely be more careful next time.
Yeah, I mean,
like you have to have an agreement of you will do this much. And if not, you're giving me the money back or something like that.
Yeah,
it has to be that. With you, I knew it was a risk getting into it because I know how spread thin you were.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I was more patient, I don't know how long it would have taken you. But.
I know, and that's it's rough, to be able to try and foresee, how that's going to work out. And so you were honest. I mean, you had to be honest with yourself for one, because you had an intention and you had kind of like a deadline that you in your mind, wanted to see happen. And I was just like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm all about like, working on collaborative stuff, so I just maybe it was just biting off more than I could chew.
I think so. I think that's kind of, I don't know, just based on knowing you and seeing you work. I think you do that a lot, though.
Yeah. But I think I've gotten better even just this year by like being honest with myself and saying, hey, I'm in this collective and it's fun, but how is it serving me?
Yep.
And I had to be honest. I had to say to myself, man, this is I gotta probably let this go for now, And it felt right too. That was the other thing. It's like I didn't have like any reservation, like I was gonna upset anybody or anything like that. I was just like, I got to be honest with me and do what I need to do. And it's been, I don't know, I feel like it's been a really good choice.
I think it probably will be for you.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, just like simplifying things.
What are you gonna do without the regular shows that they were doing?
1850, I think, is still gonna go on.
No, but what are you gonna do though?
I'm gonna sit down and buckle down to work on this. Like I said, I'm working on this solo show, getting ideas. I've got projects already lined up that I want to work on. I've got I had this page open a while back here. And I've got projects lined up, and it's like the guy that's helping me kind of with the logistics end of it and just ideas, and locating a space and all that stuff is just like been a really good cheerleader for me too. And so every time I bring something to the table, it's like, well, what about this? I was thinking like, man, wouldn't it be cool to like, I'm going to try and get Seed Eddington out here for the show. And hopefully do some like print signing or something like that, just to like, I'm hopefully going to create some kind of crowdfunding for the event if I can raise some money so I can pay for whatever I need to pay for the event. I've already got a band nailed down and is ready to do, we'll play for the show. And so I mean, it's just pulling all those little things together.
They don't sound like big things.
They are, but what's crazy about it is I don't have to actually deal with it. I have somebody else handling it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right on, dude. What's happened to this? Hopefully record all that shit. I wonder if there's like a limit to how much I can record.
Maybe. How long have we been going here?
I have no idea. I don't know. 9:45 right now. Whenever we started.
About 45 minutes then, because it was about 9 o'clock when we started. It's recording.
3:48. Does it record on my phone? So it says 14 seconds out of 3:48. I wonder if it's recording to my phone and not to YouTube, which would be totally useless.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. No, but like this piece here is going to be probably 2 panels. I'm going to take 2 panels and actually marry them together and make a very large painting. But this is all going to be just solid.
Turn it around so we can see.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm a huge fan of like woodland stuff, but I also am a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland. And so I'm hopefully going to be able to take this and bleed everything you see here out into like a full piece. So it's going to be very obscure out here, but as you kind of hook us into this like opening, it's going to be like this like sickly sweet dandelion like haze everywhere, you know. And hopefully I'll probably do it in acrylics because it's just a faster way to do it. But like I've been really getting into oils with that Star Wars piece I did for the show. That was like a first time ever doing oils, and it came out really fun. I mean, I was really pleased with it. But
so what are you doing with that?
this right here is just a sketch, and eventually from the sketch, I'll take it and I'll put it in. I'll scan it probably, and then just blow it up with the projector.
I gotta tell you, that's what pisses me off about you.
What?
You call that a sketch? Like that's.
Well, I mean, if somebody wanted to buy it, it would. I mean, sure, they could buy it, but it is not the final piece. You know, this is still the idea, and it's like this has been a lot of just like noodling. You know, it's like, does this work? Does this work? No, it doesn't work.
That's what pisses me off about you, Jeremy. I don't want to hear it, dude.
Oh well.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, I'll just shut up and draw then, and just won't talk anymore. Damn.
Like for real, like I see you do. Like if you flip through, there's all kinds of stuff that is, in my opinion, should have. If you put your energy into
I'll finish this, and it'll be a finished thing on paper.
It looks like it's sellable right now. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that means like that's important to you, but
no, it's not. I mean, because ideally, I still want to kind of create some things here, and develop it in certain things, and figure out how it's going to work. It might not even actually turn out how the drawing is, but at least I've explored here, and I'm happy with the placement. I'm happy with certain things. And then it's and then if somebody wanted to buy the sketch, it's like I look at like some artists, like they have sketchbooks and they have these ideas, and they've turned them into bigger projects. What's his name?
Right.
Crayola is it's a really good example.
Crayola, I'm not familiar with that guy.
Greg Simpkins. He does amazing paintings, but he does a lot of sketching too. So he'll take most artists that sketch in a book, you know, will generally take that sketch a little further and create a painting or do something with it, you know. And that's just my process too. As frustrating as it may be to you.
Yeah, I mean, I see you put what looks like a lot of effort and time into these little little like doodles.
Yeah.
And then they don't go anywhere. And it
may, if somebody said, "Hey, I really like that, I want to buy it," I would tell it to them. But I'm not necessarily like trying to push it on anybody.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. How do people? Like, do you post that this is for sale? Or this is just a doodle if you want it? You know.
No, I don't even go that route. It's just like, and I've actually had really good responses like that way by not saying, "Hey, if you're interested in this, you know,
okay,
blah blah blah." Sometimes, like the Luke Skywalker piece that we did, the oil painting. I put on there that it is sold, but I also put on there that we are going to be making prints together with the piece. So.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not that I don't advertise things for sale. It's just that like certain things I don't necessarily view as sellable.
Alrighty then.
If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.